That was a complete and utter waste of time and a big fail. Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be pulling the fuel pump out of the A31 Cefiro because honestly I think it might be the reason why the car might not be running right. My buddy Dave and I tried testing it out a while back with the voltage meter and we were only getting about 9.5 volts when we actually cranked the car. So I think it's probably going bad, but either way, even if it's not going bad, I know it's not one of those things that's probably even in the best condition because of how old the car is and how many kilometers are on the car anyway. But either way, I have a brand new fuel pump right here that we're going to be swapping into it. But the first thing we need to do is go ahead and depressurize the fuel system, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that. But I also want to tell you guys that Evelyn sent me a whole bunch of really cool clips from Panama that she videotaped for us yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and include them in this video so you guys will see some pretty cool stuff from where she's from in Chitre, Panama. So let's go ahead and jump down to the car, start depressurizing the fuel system, and then we'll get into the next step. So I'll see you guys down there. Let's go. So we're down here in the garage now. We're about ready to start pulling out the fuel pump from the A31. The lighting is really bad down here. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm standing below a light right now, but actually where the car is at, the lighting isn't the best. So I'm going to be using my cell phone light to try to film it as the best as I can. So you're going to have to bear with me a little bit, but I'm going to show you guys the steps in the process of how I remove the A31's fuel pump. So I'm going to show you guys where it's at first, and then I'll show you guys how to depressurize the fuel system. So we're going to go here to the back of the car, and I've already kind of removed some of the stuff beforehand when I was already kind of digging around in the car before, but right there is where the fuel pump access is. It's going to be right inside there. So what we're going to do, let me see if I can put my phone down here. It's kind of hard to do it, but we're going to go ahead and remove this bolt, this one, and this one. And normally there's a metal panel that goes across here to cover up these cables right here, but I already removed that a long time ago. That's up there in the bedroom, so they're in the office, I should say. And then over here is where we're going to unplug it because that's where it's all powered through, which also leads to our fuel pump relay. But this we don't really have to mess around with. But what we're gonna do is remove these 4 bolts, and then we'll pull this panel out so you guys can see what it looks like underneath. Mine are only hand tight at the moment because like I said, I was already kind of digging around in here before, but what's underneath there isn't, so that's where you'll really see all the magic happen. So the plan now is to take these 2 little clamps off here. One of these lines is the return line and one of the other ones is the sending line to send the fuel and return the fuel back. So we're gonna remove these 2 clamps here, and then we're gonna pry these hoses off, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these 8mm bolts. I think there's 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. I think there's 6 of them, but we're gonna remove those bolts, and that'll actually allow us to pull this whole unit out and access the fuel tank if we really wanna look inside and see if it's rusty. I'm pretty sure it's not the cleanest in there, but we're gonna pull it all out and see what our fuel pump and everything looks like inside there. But before we can do that, we actually have to depressurize the fuel system so these things don't leak a whole bunch of gas everywhere. I'm pretty sure we're still gonna get some gas coming out, but some is better than a whole lot, right? Right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull the 10-amp fuse that controls the fuel pump that's underneath the driver's side kick panel. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna kill all the power to the fuel pump, so that way when we start cranking the car here in a second to depressurize the system, it's not gonna allow the fuel pump to turn the motor over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull that fuel pump out, and then we're gonna crank the car, and then hopefully it should depressurize the car. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Hopefully I got the right fuse because the fuse panel is actually in Japanese. Why it's in Japanese and this car was sold here in Malaysia, I have no idea. But luckily I was able to find a diagram online that translated it from Thailand. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So this is the fuse panel right here. And you can see everything is in Japanese, but I figured out that it's the 6th one from the bottom right going up. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if all goes well, that one right there should be the right one. If all goes well. So if all goes well, it should be this fuse right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that 10-amp fuse that's next to this yellow one here. I'm gonna pull that fuse out, and then the car should not be able to turn over. All right, so we pulled out our 10-amp fuse, and now what we're gonna go ahead and do is crank the car, and what it should do is depressurize the system. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I've never done this before, so I'm kind of curious to see if it actually does work. So let's hope. Well, that didn't seem to work too well. That actually turned over right away. Oh man. All right, I guess we're gonna have to try another one. That was a complete and utter waste of time and a big fail. I guess the translations that I got were not accurate at all because I've tried pulling out so many different fuses and trying to figure out which one's which, and none of them worked the way I thought. So we're gonna go with plan B. We're gonna go ahead and try to pull the fuel pump relay. I've heard that also does the same trick because it's supposed to still cut the fuel system. So we're gonna go ahead and try pulling the fuel pump relay, and then we'll see if it works. So let's give that a try. All right, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect it from here. This should work. All right, so we got our fuel pump relay disconnected. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can crank the car, and hopefully the car won't turn on this time. So if everything goes to plan, when I put the key in and I turn the ignition, it shouldn't do anything other than just crank, which should release the fuel pressure. So let's see. And it still turns on. Oh, there we go. It died on me. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. So I don't want to do it too much because I think it's going to flood the engine. But right now the car completely died, which should mean that it released all the fuel pressure. Let's see, give it one more. Now that we have the fuel system depressurized, what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is remove the gas cap because that should release any other pressure that's still left in the system. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And now while I go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and jump into those clips to see what Evelyn's doing over in Panama. So let's go ahead and check them out.
Hola a todos. Vine con mi mamá al doctor en el centro de mi pueblo, de mi ciudad, y coincidimos con una fiesta religiosa que se celebra todos los años acá en Chitré. Entonces voy a mostrarles algunas tomas de las danzas y de un postre que se parece mucho a algo que ustedes comen allá. Véanlo. Denme dos, por favor. Le pone un sirope. Puedes elegir cualquier sabor. Y eso es leche condensada. Gracias. Estos son los sabores. Hay de fresa, ¿verdad?
Fresa, coco, nance, tamarindo, rojo.
Fresa, coco, nance y tamarindo. Cualquiera que ustedes quieran. Muchas gracias. Cuando yo era niña se usaban otros vasos. Eran vasos diferentes, pero ahora utilizamos esto. Pero igual, sabe igual de rico y refrescante porque Panamá es igual que Malasia. Hace mucho calor. Espero que les haya gustado saber más sobre el raspado. Sí, porque ese es el nombre. Y me da una impresión que es igual al cendol. No sé ustedes qué piensan. Saludos!
Alright guys, so it's day 2 of our little project that we got going here, removing the fuel pump. I actually had to take a break because I didn't have the tool to take off the battery terminal, so I actually had to run to Ace Hardware today to go buy some open-ended wrenches to be able to take off the terminal. So got the battery undone, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the fuel pump out of the back of the car. So let's go ahead and get that done. So it actually doesn't look that bad in there like I was expecting. Like I really honestly was expecting it was going to be full of deposits of rust or something, but it's actually really clean in there. Let's go ahead and check out the fuel pump, see how that looks. All right, so we got the unit out of the car, and honestly, it's not in as bad a shape as I was expecting it to be. I mean, you got the sock, which doesn't look as dirty. It's still a little dirty. It's not as bad as I was thinking it was gonna be, and the pump looks fairly new, to be honest, and so do the clamps and the hose. In fact, the hose here is actually pretty squishy, so clearly this thing has been changed at some point in its life, probably more recently. But what I'm really concerned about is how small that pump is compared to the one that I got from Nissan. So this is the one that I got from Nissan to replace it with. Let me set that down and then I'll show it to you guys. So this is an actual unit built in Japan for this car, and when you look at it side by side to this one, I don't know, either I got the wrong pump, which I don't think, because that's the one that came up when I looked up all the part numbers, and it would actually fit. Let me see if I can move my finger. There we go. So clearly, look at the difference in size. That is incredible. There we go. That's a better look of it. Wow. So I'm thinking the reason why my car isn't running as good as it should is because the guy who changed the pump put in some rinky-dink tiny knockoff pump that, I don't know, wherever he found it from, doesn't go to this car. So that's definitely one of my concerns right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out in the next video. I'm actually gonna hold off on changing it. But the other thing that I wanted to show you guys was this is where the fuel level indicator is. So this is your float that tells you how much gas you have in your car. So depending on where it's floating in your car, or in your gas tank I should say, is what sends the signal back to your instrument cluster to tell you how much gas you have in your car. So if this thing isn't working properly, then it's gonna obviously say that's either less gas or, you know, give you a false indication. So in my case, my car was telling me when I had a full tank that I actually only had 3/4 of a tank, but I really don't see any issues with this one in particular. So I don't know, maybe it's the position, who knows? I really have no idea, but we're gonna play around with it. And in the next video, like I said, we're gonna swap out the pump and then we're gonna see if that helps take care of it. I'm gonna end up cleaning some of this up too because this looks really, really nasty up here. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the content from Evelyn. I'm gonna try to get out this video as soon as I can so you guys can see the progress. And actually, Evelyn sent me a whole lot more videos in the meantime, so I'll show you guys what we have right now, obviously, since you're watching the video. And then in the next video, I'll have even more stuff from Panama. So hope you guys enjoyed it, so stick around. So we'll put the pump in the next video, and I'll see you guys then. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!